I'd like to welcome everybody to our September 7th City Council meeting. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And if you could remain standing while our Deputy Mayor Karen Bute leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, help us to be ever mindful of the beauties around us. May we grow with our gardens in gentleness, patience, courage, and laughter. As we turn the brown soil and plant our seeds, may we learn faith in the goodness of the earth, the clemency of the sun, and the fullness of the clouds. May we be grateful for the privilege of being co-workers with you in the creation of even one tiny flower. And grant that we may know the great joy that comes from sharing with others. Amen. And please remain standing. We have a moment of silence for one of our business owners who passed away recently. Donald Jarvella, age 89, passed away last week after an extended illness. Donald proudly served in the U.S. Army in Germany during the Korean War. Donald loved to travel internationally, especially with Italy, often with groups of Brigantine residents. He was very active in St. Thomas Church and was a member of the Brigantine Elks. Along with his wife, Esther Casale, they owned Casale Amare, the Italian market, and he is also survived by his 3 children and his 4 grandchildren. Thank you. Please be seated.
And can you read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act.
Perfect, thank you. We're actually going to shift the agenda around a little bit. At this time, we're going to do our acknowledgement of our community garden volunteers who are all here with us. And I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy Mayor, Karen Bute.
Thank you very much. All right. Down there. A lot about how much our volunteers do on our island, like our farm market crew and the coaches in our youth sports programs. Tonight, we would like to recognize another hardworking group of volunteers who tirelessly work to create our community garden. Judy Starkey and her band of merry gardeners work countless hours to plant, weed, fertilize, water, harvest the many vegetables grown in the garden. The produce is then donated to our Meals on Wheels program, the Senior Center participants, and the True Spirit Coalition food pantry with a goal to provide seniors with healthy and nutritious meals. For those of you who don't know, the garden is located behind the community center and is supported by the Green Team and also gets a tremendous amount of help from John Doring and our public works staff. Last month, members of the Green Team and council were invited to a delightful luncheon, which was prepared by the garden volunteers using the crops grown right there. Tonight, we have certificates of appreciation for this wonderful team of volunteers. So when I call your name, please come. First, we have Judy Starkey. Bob Shaley is not with us this evening. Mary Lou,
great.
Yes, oh, yes.
Really?
The Roma, yes, man that goes to the community center, Vincent, his son brought the Roma community back in. And Dale is our seed grower here. We're starting to grow more seeds. Dale has been wonderful in growing seeds, and she grew a lot of seeds for us, but the Roma tomatoes, she grew for Vincent, and he gave us back the plants. And those plants produce like crazy. They really did. So it's been a successful year to continue to have plants. And they are, yes, I get that feedback. The seniors are very grateful to get that produce. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, we always look out pollinators, pollinators. We also.
Well, I want to applaud you guys. Thank you. Thank you. You know, before you all go, I just want to say thank you, myself, and for the rest of council too. I'm sure everybody else want to say thanks, but you know, without the volunteer group, we say it all the time, that's the core group that makes up the Brigantine, the special place that it is. So it's great, especially when I see one of my favorite neighbors up there, Kathy Rogers and Joanna Milnes. Like, so many people get involved and volunteer for one thing and then end up volunteering for other things. And without the volunteers and people like yourselves. And it's so good to see young and old and all, a big mix.
No, thank you.
You know, so thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And I know the mayor wants to say something as well. I know the mayor wants to say
Excellent.
something.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate all you do for the city. Thank you. All right, then we're going to have an executive session tonight. What are the topics we're going to discuss?
Matters of personnel and litigation, Mayor.
Perfect. All right, so personnel and litigation. And can you read the resolution for executive session?
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss personnel
And litigation.
and litigation, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Perfect. Thank you. We have a motion and second.
Second.
All right, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Mayor Sierra?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit. leave the rest of them. Well, no, because they need to be, they're rude, but then they need to, and that's. Couple people's houses. 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. Are you gonna take off the burger? No.
I always have executive when I fill in for her. There's never executive session except when I fill in. Exactly. Always the way. She always says that too. Yeah.
All right, we have a motion second to return from executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, can you guys summarize the executive session?
In executive session, the manager provided council with information relating to a number of litigation and investigation matters. There is a specific personnel investigation that has been undertaken. Specifics are not available at this time, but additional information will be available in the next 30 days. Additionally, there is a potential litigation that is impacting the farmers market. This matter has been referred to the municipality's insurance company, and additional information will be made available as that company moves forward with that matter. There is potential litigation that is being presented by a former employee. The manager provided some updated information on that, and it's anticipated that further information will be made available within the next 30 days. There was also a discussion about the hiring of a chief financial officer. The manager provided updates in regard to that process, and additional information will be available in 30 days. There is a pending litigation matter that was discussed. This litigation deals with the Brigantine Marine Superstore. This matter is pending. It has gone through the trial level, and a judgment has been entered contrary to the interests of the municipality. Our office, on behalf of the municipality, has filed the appropriate paperwork with the Appellate Division of Superior Court in New Jersey. Additional information will be made available on that as that proceeds through the Appellate Division. Anticipated that we will have an update, generally speaking, within the next 30 days.
Perfect. Thank you, Fred. Next up, we have the approval of our August 17th council meeting minutes. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri, Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
Approval of requisition list, operating expenses and payroll. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
At this time, we'll open the meeting up to public comments, and this is on agenda items only. Seeing no public participation, we're going to close the public portion. We have Resolution 2022-184, and this is a award of contract for 2 dump trucks, and this is a resolution of the City of Brigantine authorizing the purchase of 2 2023 Ford F-550 chassis 4x4 SD regular cab dump trucks from the approved state contract vendor, Route 23 Auto Mall, and this is totaling $275,186. Have a motion second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
You're going to be able to get these?
18 to 24 months.
Wow.
Okay, there's a lot of back orders.
Wow.
All right, if there's no other questions or comments, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
We have Resolution 2022-185, and this is a resolution expressing support for the issuance to the Brigantine Paddle Club nonprofit corporation of a waiver of requirements of the NJAC 13:2-8.3 and 8.4 by the Director of the Division of Alcohol Beverage Control. We have a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? We have, I don't know if, would it be appropriate at this time? All right, that's what I wanted to ask. Basically, what this is, I'll give just a brief update. There's a 3-year waiting period in order for club licenses. One of the things we want to show support for is that since the paddle club actually has other properties that already have a license, one of the things that you're able to do in New Jersey is use what was in the other municipalities to meet that requirement. And that's what we're basically supporting here with the ABC to show our support that there's a mutual benefit here to our community. If there's no other questions, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
A lot of pages, so- We have Resolution 2022-186, and this is a real estate tax exemption. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
Resolution 2022-187, and this is a real estate tax refunds. We have a motion second.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
Up next, we have our consent agenda, and this is for the Marine Mammal Stranding Center pup strut request, Atlantic County Surf Fishing Derby request, Chamber of Commerce Eagle Tailgate request, Vernon Place Block Party request, Brigantine PBA raffle license number 978. We have a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Any questions or comments?
Second.
Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Mayor Sarah,
Yes.
motion carries.
Up next, we have our council manager discussion. I'll turn it over to the city manager.
I have nothing additional, Mayor.
Problem, turn it over to our department heads. Yes.
This Sunday is the 21st year since 9/11 occurred. We're going to be having a remembrance ceremony for the firehouse at the 9/11 memorial. It's going to begin at 9:55, but everyone is more than welcome to come out beforehand and reflect before the ceremony or just be with everyone and chat. So again, it starts at 9:55 is when we're going to begin on Sunday morning.
Thank you. Turn it over to our deputy mayor, Karen Beal.
Chief Casamento, I hear you had a great outpouring of people at your senior event. Thank you.
Very well.
That's great. Thank you very, very much because the elder fraud is just crazy.
Yeah, it's a big issue, and we're just thankful everyone who came out and took advantage of it. There's been other presentations in other towns that weren't very well attended, so we were very, very pleased.
That's great. Thank you very much. Last week, Roxanne Tosto and I attended the grand opening of yet another business on our island, a very unique space. It is I have it on here, the Shore Space. It's a small event or meeting space that you can rent out their office. And it was in the 3200 block of Brigantine Boulevard. It was such a unique endeavor for this island. There are only two other similar businesses like this. There's one in Ocean City and one, I believe, in Marlton or someplace like that in South Jersey. So we wish the owners, Christy and Chris, the best of luck. And our business population is just booming on the island. And it sounds like it was a great first day of school. Everything went well in Brigantine. Even though it was a bit of rain, there's nothing worse than a rainy first day of school. I wish everybody a happy, healthy school year.
Thank you. We'll go over to our second ward councilman, Paul Lettieri.
I just wanted to extend my thanks to the police department, fire department, and our public works, Don Doring, for what they did and what they put up with all summer long. With everything that came down the way was handled professionally and without injury. So my hat's off to you guys. Good job.
Go to our third ward councilman, Dennis Haney.
Thank you, Mayor. I second that. Paul, tip of the cap to all our public service departments, Public Works, PD, Fire Department, Police Patrol. Excellent job, as always. It's funny, too. Summer's unofficially over. It's funny how Mother Nature just turns a switch on things sometimes, cools off a little bit, gets a little rainy. But yeah, I think we're going to have just at least maybe one more weekend, nice weekend out of it. So anyway, as far as the third ward, everything is quiet. It's been a relatively quiet summer. I just want to say that I was at, with so many of the other volunteers, I was at the Elks Bay Fest previous 2 weekends ago, and a hit as always. The bands are excellent. Incredible turnout as it always has, and just a lot of good folks there, between not just the volunteers, obviously, but the crowds that show up to support the Elks and all the wonderful things that they do in supporting our community. And then the other thing I wanted to say was just to keep someone in your family in your thoughts and prayers. If anybody noticed, our flags are at half staff, which was very nice, Jim. Jonathan Skull, who was a police officer in Northfield, passed at a very young age at 27 in an accident while working on one of his vehicles. I worked with Jonathan's father, Bill. He was an excellent trooper and detective. We were 2 stations together, the old Absecon Station and Bass River, which actually is now Galloway Station as well. Just a fine young guy, just gone way too soon, survived by his dad, Bill, and mother, Helen, along with a brother and sister. So just that. Just please keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go to our fourth ward councilman.
I just might want to add, Bill, too, about our little baseball, our organizations. Mike's familiar with that, too, with our Little League and everything, with all the work that Bill did with our Little League rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And actually had the, just really tough time for the family. But all right, thank you, Mayor.
Perfect, thank you. Go to our fourth ward councilman, Rick DeLucre.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to echo what Paul and Dennis said about fine work by our respective departments throughout the summer. Things from my perspective seem to be smooth, trouble-free. I'm sure your perspective is a little different, maybe not trouble-free, but so let's segue into the fall and keep that going. And I wanted to also thank Vince for keeping me apprised when I was on lockdown of what was going on. And I just wanted to reassure you, I'm 100%, past the point of infection. But if there was even this much of a chance that it could still be contagious, I had a contingency plan, which was basically to switch seats with Neil. Thank you.
Oh, with that, I'll kick it down to our councilman at large, Neil Kane.
I don't have a whole lot. An amazing summer, one of the busiest I've seen in a while. I really want to thank, of course, the police department, the fire department, public works, because everything comes to a standstill without those guys. Also want to reach out and I want to thank the Garden Club. They did an amazing job making the island look fantastic. We get nothing but compliments, and that's a lot of volunteer work that they do. And I don't think they always get the credit they deserve. But other than that, summer went fast, and now we're swinging into the fall. A little sad for me. I love the summer, but I hope we have a great school year with the kids, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Go to our councilman at large, Mike Reardon.
Thank you, Mayor. Echo what everybody else said. Thank you, guys, and everybody involved. Got a lot of good stuff coming up here now in the future. One of the biggest things coming up is this Sunday, the Chamber of Commerce tailgate party on the beach, Eagles versus Lions, 38th Street. If you haven't watched an Eagles game on Brigantine Beach, then you just really haven't watched football how you should watch it, really. So I want to invite everybody down to the beach on 38th Street and mention my name. We'll get you a good seat, okay? After that, the Cultural Arts Commission. The Cultural Arts Commission is starting their big arts festival is this weekend, starts this weekend on Saturday at the community center. And it's going to be every day for 2 weeks. So from September 10th through the 24th for 2 weeks, every day from 9 to 3, except for Sundays, of course, because the community center is closed on Sunday. And then on September 17th, of course, is the big day. That's the day you really want to go because it's Meet the Artist Day from 1 to 3:30. So it's fierce exciting just to meet all those fabulous artists that put up the local work and everything else. So if you can make it, write that in your calendar, September 17th, 1 to 3:30, and food and beverages will be served. And mention my name, you get a good seat there too. All right. After that.
I got the night entry.
After that, we have the Economic Development Committee is working hard, and we have some good things coming up. Bridge Fest, and we want to make plans for Bridge Fest. That's October 15th. We're starting the day out with a farmer's market. Then we're going to have a 5K walk, run, whatever you want to do. Then there's going to be a bridge crawl, which is basically a pub crawl, and a lot of good things with participating stores, shops, and restaurants, and so on and so forth. So there you have it in a nutshell. I know there's other things I could go on and talk about right now, but I'm going to just want to say the Food Truck Festival was a big success. Went very well again, and that's it. If you have any other problems, my number's right on the front page of the Brigantine Times now, so you can give me a call for any problems. I'll be happy to work with you and help you out. And then other than that, we'll just try to keep lowering taxes every year, and 7 years now we've lowered taxes, and so and that's it. So thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that update. It's funny, one of the councilmen in Galloway grabbed a hold of me. He's like, "Who's this guy who keeps talking about lowering taxes?" I was like, "He's one of our councilmen," so I thought I'd share that with you.
The word's out.
It is out there. First of all, there's not enough good things we can say about our city employees. We have some of the best city employees, I'd say, not just in the state of New Jersey, but in the entire country. Everyone works so hard, and that's why our city's so successful. And it's not just our employees, it's our volunteers, it's our community. Like, Brigantine truly is an amazing place to live, and we appreciate everything and everybody does. A couple weeks ago, there's a group that came into Brigantine and distributed randomly some anti-Semitic materials throughout our community. I would say, for me personally, a lot of our council members, and for our community, it's something that deeply saddened all of us. And I want it to be very clear that this type of behavior is unacceptable and will never be tolerated here in our community. I know our police are involved in investigation with that, and I know something personally for me, with the amount of ring cams that are out there and the personal home security systems and surveillance systems, somebody has to see something. And if you see something and you can go back through those tapes and you can look, please report it to our police. We want to make sure that we can do everything that we're able to do to hold the people accountable for what they did. Councilman Mike Reardon and I had an opportunity to meet with members of the Temple Beth Shalom Synagogue here in Brigantine. They wanted us to personally thank the chief and thank the police department for the outstanding service that they received, not just during this time of need, but throughout the years. They really appreciate the extra support. There's officers who call and check in to make sure they are beyond grateful for the service that you provide for the Jewish community here in Brigantine, and they wanted us to extend that. Mike and I had an opportunity to meet with both the Temple Beth Shalom Synagogue and the American Jewish Community Committee, as well as the Anti-Defamation League in separate meetings. One of the big things we wanted to do is to discuss how Brigantine can best support the Jewish community here in Brigantine, and they also wanted to provide us with resources that we can use as a city to take a meaningful stand against anti-Semitism. It's great to have that partnership. It's great to be able to work with these different groups to see what we can do to try to make sure that things like this don't happen again. Two things we're looking at. One, we're looking at a resolution that I would really like council to pass. We're working on it now. It was provided to us by the American Jewish Committee, but it was something that was prepared for the Mayor's Association, and it was passed by prepared by the New Jersey League of Municipalities for the Mayor's Association. And what it does is it gives a specific, actionable definition to anti-Semitism. We're working on that right now. We want the leadership within the Temple Beth Shalom Synagogue to review it, make sure it's appropriate for our community. As soon as that's ready, we'll send it out to council to make sure that everybody has an idea or a chance to review it and everybody's comfortable with the language and that it is appropriate to express the wishes of this governing body. We also want to work with the Temple Beth Shalom Synagogue because they're coming up on the Jewish holidays. And we want to make sure that we do this at a meeting where their members can attend. So we'll work that out with them and make sure things are good. Our school, and this is a big thing. You know, one of the ways you want to end hate, you want to end segregation, you want to end anti-Semitism, it's got to start in our schools. It's got to start with our young people. The school is in its second year now working with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and the No Place for Hate program. Our school here in Brigantine is deemed by them a No Place for Hate school. The superintendent also has a meeting set up with the American Jewish Committee to talk about some of the educational resources and materials that they have that we can start to implement in our school. And this is one of the things we want to do to take a meaningful stand here in our city. I know I wasn't able to attend because I had a family vacation that was planned, but I know the Brigantine Democratic Club held a community vigil. There was a number of people who showed up out to the community to show their support for the Jewish community here, and I wanted to extend our thank you for hosting that meeting, and that's one of the most important things we can do. One of the aims of hate is to create division. One of the things I'm very proud of this community is that instead of turning to anger, people turned to love. People turned to unity. People came together. And we saw that all throughout the community, and that's something that we need to stand for. So I wanted to kind of express those things and let people know where we are. A couple of updates. As people have read in the Brigantine Times, the Army Corps of Engineers has approved our beach replenishment for our front beaches. This is something big for us. We've been working with Congressman Van Drew and the Army Corps since the spring. Brigantine is an engineered and managed beach. We're on a 68-year rotation for our beach replenishments. They approved it. They're going to get back to us later this fall. We don't have the specific details on the project, but the big first step is one, getting the approval, because with the approval comes funding. This project is funded 75%, my understanding 75% by the federal government, 12.5% by the state, 12.5% by local municipality. When we have those details, we'll get that out. Traditionally, we've done these in the spring to be ready for the beach season. I can't guarantee the start date because they have let us know there is a number of projects and replenishments they're working on. But as soon as we have that information, we'll get that out to everybody because, the beaches are really important for us. The next thing is on the windmills, a couple of updates on that. Brigantine is a consulting partner with the Atlantic Shores Windmill Project. We had our first consulting partners meeting. With the consulting partners, there's a little over 60 other entities that are involved in that. The first meeting was an introduction of all the members, a project overview and a question and answer period. There'll be more meetings that come up. I forget if the next one, I think the next one's in October. But this is a way for us to get updated information and to give direct feedback to the companies to the company, as well as be in connection with the other communities that are being impacted by this project. The other thing we're working on too is we're going to be hosting a meeting with the mayors and other elected officials from Atlantic County. One of the things we want to do is make sure that we get everybody on the same page with this project. Right now, this project's going to impact different communities in different ways. People throughout the community, and I say throughout the community, throughout the county, have varying levels of knowledge, varying understandings of what this project is and how it's going to impact the shore communities as well as the mainland communities. So we offered it out to all of the elected officials, state, federal, and local to come to Brigantine. We'll be meeting probably in the next 2 weeks to kind of bring everybody up to speed and see who wants to be engaged in this process so we can start to build a coalition here to speak with a unified voice from Atlantic County. We're also working on setting up the Brigantine community meeting. This is going to be an open house style meeting with Atlantic Shores. We had originally looked at a date in September, but as I said, they would prefer to come in October. They want to make sure that the people who can answer the questions best are here. We're looking at either the first or second week of October. This Friday, they're supposed to give confirmation back to the city on the specific date they can be here. Once we have that information, we'll share that with the public. Lighthouse Circle. We've gone for, I'm going to say, the better part of a decade trying to deal with the county and come to an understanding and agreement with the Lighthouse Circle. We are finally at a point where we have a tentative agreement. Basically, the agreement is that Brigantine and the county will share the cost of the traffic study, 50% each, 50% of the design and engineering costs, construction costs. Brigantine will pay 22%, the county will pay 78%. Basically, from where we were to where we are, this saves the city of Brigantine about $1 million. And that was one of the things we wanted to do. The project needs to get done, but we also wanted to make sure that a big portion of this wasn't placed on the backs of the taxpayers. One of the things that came up that we wanted to discuss internally with our engineers, there's a lot of, I'm going to say not a lot, but there are drainage issues that need to be addressed at the circle. We have a flood buster there. Because of the drainage problems, the water can't get to the flood buster to be pumped out. They're going to include the drainage issues in this project. So we're going to get this all done at once. What I'd like to do is, me personally, I just want to review the contract one more time to make sure that what was discussed in the meetings is what is conveyed in writing. And then I'd like the manager, once we talk about it, to send it out to council. I would like all of council to review and read the contract ahead of time to make sure that people are good with it. And I anticipate at the next council meeting that we'll be in a position to take action and move forward. So those are kind of my updates. And
Vince, do we have any designs yet to look at regarding this circle?
yeah, Jim has this.
So, Councilman Kane, the designs were approved back in early 2019, right after I started. The long and the short of it is we have an approved design. What the mayor was referring to was the final design work based on that concept. The long and the short of the design is we will be enlarging the actual concrete portion where the lighthouse is.
Okay.
The stop signs will be removed on Bayshore Avenue. There will be yield signs at every entrance to the circle. So this is going to become a true roundabout. Brigantine Boulevard northbound, so coming onto the island, shortly past the Cove Restaurant, it's going to be necked down into a single lane.
Okay.
So we will have single lanes entering and exiting the circle at all points, and no stop signs. It'll be a true roundabout, not a traffic circle, not a traffic diversion, which it is currently. This will be a true functional circle.
How about people coming around the circle and trying to get on the Bay Shore?
It's only going to be one lane inside of the circle.
Okay, so that'll nip that in the
Yeah,
bud.
we're getting rid of
That's
that.
90% of the problem. Okay.
There'll be more green space there on the bay side. There will be parking for the Atlantic Care building. There'll be a larger ADA certified, if you will, walkway sidewalk
Okay.
with curb cuts. It'll look nice when it's finished. And we won't be disturbing the lighthouse itself at all.
Hopefully it'll work.
Listen, it'll be better than what it is.
Okay, thanks, guys.
No, perfect. That was great. And I'm glad you brought up the part about not disturbing or moving the lighthouse. Believe it or not, most of the emails and communications, people have said, don't touch my lighthouse. We are not moving the lighthouse. We're simply just redesigning the circle to improve the flow of traffic. Any other questions from council? All right, at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody wishing to be heard from the public, please come up, state your name and address for the record. Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. First, Mayor Sarah, just a quick question on some of the information you just gave. The public meeting that Brigantine is hosting for elected officials, is that a public meeting?
So the meeting for the elected officials is not. There will be a public meeting. There will be a public meeting for the community. Part of what we're doing with the elected officials is trying to just get everybody on the same page because people have varying understandings and varying levels of support. And we want to make sure that people understand the full impact of that.
Okay. On another subject, some information concerning Public Works Department expenditures and personnel has come to the attention of the Taxpayers Association. It's fair and appropriate to bring this to council for your response. Number one, why is money being spent on the rental of a portable generator at the Vernon Place well when a one-time request, repair to the auxiliary motor inside the well building would have been done 2 years ago and at a considerable saving to the taxpayers, more than $100,000? Two, it appears that the city's contractual policy on nepotism is being violated in regard to the promotion within the department of a relative to a supervisory position over a more non-relative qualified employee. Three, if there are correct employees with state-required water licenses, why is someone else with the license being paid at a greater cost for a one-day weekly job? And four, also, this is a little different, but it also concerns our public service, our facilities. A lot of money is now being spent, and wisely and necessarily so, on repairs and improvements to the water towers. Has there been and is there now a written plan with provisions for funding for annual maintenance and upgrades? I'd like to sit down now and listen to your comments. Thank you. And if anyone has any concerns about the, the relationship between council and individual members of city employees or departments, this is being addressed to council as a whole for policies that you set regarding, the use of money and personnel. Thank you.
Well, not going to comment on open personnel issues. That is not up for public debate with regards to the nepotism. Again, Mrs. Phillips, it's a personnel issue. We will not be discussing that. With regards to the generator, I will let Mr. Doring answer that one. He's best served. Go ahead, John.
We had an issue with a generator 3 years ago, and at that time, we put out for bid generators for 7 different stations, water and sewer stations. And it was decided at that time not to repair the, and don't quote me, 1982 model that was in there, to rent one that was more efficient. And that's what we've been doing since, renting one, which we do all the time. Yeah.
With regards to the water tower project that she spoke about, yes. That is part of the repair work that's being done, is there'll be annual maintenance. The company is responsible for taking care of our towers and inspecting them every so often and taking care of problems that pop up. That was one of the big reasons we went with the company that we did, was that they were able to provide basically a full service to us.
One of the major issues, especially with water utilities, is a lot of municipalities don't invest in them, don't keep up with the upkeep. And what happens is it gets to a point that it becomes too expensive for the municipality to maintain it, and then they have to sell those water utilities to private companies. The problem with the private companies is they're for profit, and rates typically go up between 400% and 500%. If you look in some of the other communities that have for-profit water utilities, what they pay in a month is what our community pays in 6 months. Brigantine has the third lowest water rate in the county, and one of the things we're doing is investing in the towers to make sure that they stay good, they stay healthy, and that they last, and that we do not need to sell our water utility. I know that Mayor Simpson, as well as myself, has been approached by for-profit companies who are very interested in buying our utility, but we believe that it's in the best interest of the citizens of Brigantine to keep that utility within the city and under city control.
Mayor, you wait till I answer your question, please. The final question was with regards to the water operator for the city of Brigantine. While it's true we have employees with those licenses, the employee who was our licensed water and sewer operator stepped down from his position. So all we currently have is a backup water and sewer operator who does not wish to be the water and sewer operator. So in order to comply with state law, we entered into a shared service agreement with the city of Ventnor for their water and sewer operator's license.
Sure.
I'm surprised that you mentioned the issue of selling the water utility to a private operator, that has nothing to do with this, and certainly nothing that I or the taxpayers are advocating. So I'm not sure why you brought that into this. It's not part of this discussion. I'm glad that we have a city-owned water utility. I have read about other municipalities who have problems with their water and consider selling, et cetera. That is not part of this discussion, nor has it anything to do with the comments that I brought to your attention. So I wanted to make that clear, because you might be giving people a false impression.
But they're directly related to each other.
Pardon me?
They're directly related to each other.
Has nothing to do
To
with it.
maintain your systems, and the water systems, including the water towers,
What
be able to hold on to our water.
I explicitly said that it was wise and necessary to do what you're doing at the water towers. This has nothing to do with a private operator. Please don't bring that in, because that's a very controversial issue, and it's not the issue here. Has nothing relevant to do.
But I thought you were upset about the monies being spent on the water towers.
You weren't listening, sir. Absolutely not. I said wisely and necessarily, the money's being spent.
I think, Mrs. Phillips,
I simply said, do you or did you have, and do you have now, a written plan, so that evidently there was a lot of work that had to be done. Was this something that should have been done over the years? And that's something you want to avoid because you want to do it annually. So it has nothing to do with the private operator.
I think you're reading into it a little bit too much, Mrs. Phillips. It's just additional information that was added. I mean, your question was being addressed. It was just additional information.
But it wasn't a question that was being raised, sir. That's the issue.
I don't
And it
think it was
can
overly
lead, put people
superfluous
in
or
the
anything
wrong
like that. It was
direction.
just additional
No,
information.
it's nothing to do with it.
I would just say, Mrs. Phillips, I think I misunderstood your question. I appreciate the clarification. And
Yes, that is very important. Thank you.
all right, if there's no other public comment, we'll close the public portion at this time. Are there any final council comments? All right, seeing none, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting. I'd like to thank everybody for joining our September 7th council meeting and watching your